Hey folks, it's Patriot Nurse. Join me today. We're going to talk about a nation that has no eyes, no ears, and no heart. You're joining me here at the grave of my 6th great-grandfather. He's a Revolutionary War vet. Because of the lighting, I had to film this way on the backside because I'd be real bad backlit and y'all couldn't see. But I draw a lot of strength from my family. I have many vets from pretty much every war since even before the nation was founded, and he's one of them. Fought in both the Revolutionary War and the War of 1812, of course. But I was thinking about something, and I had a little download I wanted to share with y'all. This nation has become such a far cry from what this generation did and was, and the people that founded our nation, and fought for it. When I look at the revolutionary generation, which was truly the greatest generation, they valued liberty and freedom over security and over comfort. And that is not what I see in the nation today. For many different reasons, we have become a slovenly nation, a nation prone to sloth and to gluttony and to greed. And I'm not saying that I'm immune to all this, of course. I'm not sitting up here like some sort of Joan of Arc figure or anything, but you got to reconcile your circumstances. And when I look around at our nation today and our generations that are alive and compare them to the greatest generation, I see that there's a major differential. While that generation had eyes to see the truth and was willing to believe their own eyes and take action accordingly, ours just continues to absorb tech, entertainment, sludge, whatever it is, through their eyes. It's like they'll see it, but it never gets to action. So people will read the same news stories, they'll read the same thing day after day after day, and they won't take any actionable steps. And I'm not talking about like just buying stuff. They won't do the discipline to go out there and to train. They won't put in the time, the effort for dry practice. They let their pastors or whoever it is tell them to keep turning the other cheek, and that goes into the ears to hear. There's only so much that you can keep getting hit in the face and allowing your enemy to dictate the tempo of the fight, and that's exactly what's been happening for the past 4 years. We might as well have had Democrats elected to every branch of government. Well, judges, but you wouldn't have thought that there was any sort of repudiation of their regime. They keep getting their way, and we keep turning the other cheek. We keep listening, but not understanding, what they want. They got the ears of the young people. When you've got that generation that had eyes to see, ears to hear, and a heart that was sensitive to eternal and immutable truth, freedom and biblical principles, and you compare it today, what are our eyes doing? Absorbing tech and screens. What are our ears doing? Listening to more useless garbage. Wherever it is, it's noise, just noise. Ears full of useless knowledge. What good is knowledge if you don't have actionable steps to move forward from? And the heart. Can we talk about the heart? I'm not any sort of prophetess, okay, but I just look around and see the world the way it is, and I look at people, at least half of our country, just by voting aggregates, who have their hearts so dulled to wickedness that they think things that are vile and abominable are acceptable. And more than that, even of people who know that things aren't right, who know that the positions of their children's schools aren't right, or their employers aren't right, or their family members aren't right, they continue to go along and get along. It's I'm telling y'all, this generation was tested, and they were found worthy. Will our generation be found worthy? We're about to be tested hardcore, I believe. And it's down to the simple things, And I'm not saying that I understand everybody's situation, but I do know that there are certain school systems around this country, Illinois specifically, that are now starting to indoctrinate children with anti-biblical viewpoints in preschool. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's censored platform, it's YouTube, so you could, of course, extrapolate where I'm going here. But we have to make decisions here. What is our heart going to be sensitive towards? Are you going to continue to let your children be indoctrinated by a state and a regime that hates you and that's against God and everything biblical, including freedom and liberty, and the right to defend yourself and to raise your children under biblical and historically literate standards? Are you going to, keep your mouth shut and toe the line at a work in a business, believing that they're the one with your paycheck instead of trusting that, we eat from the hand of God? I'm not saying this is easy, y'all. This was not easy for them. Our time of testing is not going to be easy either, but we have to be resolute and strong. I see that the testing that's coming is more than just some sort of abstract spiritual, keywords. It'll be people choosing the right thing, the biblical way, the historically literate way, over what their employer says is the PC way to go. It'll be a mom and a dad sitting down at a table saying, you know what? We need to look at other educational options for our children. Because even though public school may be free, look at what they're indoctrinating into our children. Are you willing to give up the car payment? Are you willing to live within your means so that you can raise your children accordingly, on the funds that you have? Eyes to see, ears to hear, and a heart that is not numb. For us, I think, to be able to return to normalcy, or have some semblance or a shadow of the liberty that this generation fought for, we have to return to the piety and the simplicity and the fortitude and determination that they had. They paid for it. Are we going to continue to squander it? What I do know is that our domestic enemies have dictated the tempo for a long, long time. And as long as we continue to walk back and walk back and walk back and walk back and not take a stand and turn the other cheek and all of that, they're going to continue to get their way. It's weird when you sit like with your family. Maybe it's a southern thing, I don't know. But like sitting with your family and thinking about who they are, and that the same blood that runs in their veins also runs in ours. 1776, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, leading up to it, that was not that long ago. Blink of an eye within the expanse of history. People haven't changed that much. Technology has changed, but people haven't changed. They still had dirtbags in their generation. They had the Tories that were ruling a lot of their cities, and that were setting the PC line of, oh, you better not say this. You don't want to stir the pot. You don't want to get the crown mad, because they were going to lose our funding. They had these things too, in different ways. There ain't nothing new under the sun. But yeah, that's what I see. A nation right now with no eyes to hear, no eyes to see, no ears to hear. Yeah, eyes don't hear. No eyes to see, no ears to hear, and a heart that's numb. And if we want to get back to a semblance of normalcy, we're going to have to harden ourselves, man, and have discipline. And that means arming yourselves and be prepared to defend yourselves. Because I'm here to tell you, y'all, this trajectory that we're on is not sustainable. Okay? And you think it's crazy right now, a couple years, election time. Oh yeah, they're going to push the issue, man. They're going to push the issue. They know their time is short. So we need to be ready, and that doesn't mean, just buying a whole bunch of stuff and sitting on it. This means being practical with your skill sets, being able to defend yourself, being confident in your ability to do that. I'm focusing clearly on the things that I always have, beans, bullets, and band-aids, but you better get your head on a swivel as far as self-defense, okay? Because these people hate you. They hate, especially if you're a Bible believer, they hate you. They hate the word. They hate everything you stand for, and they're not going to show you any mercy, especially if they get in power. So we need to be prepared for our time of testing, and that's what I have for y'all today. I hope it was helpful for you. If you enjoyed the video, I hope you'll subscribe to me here on YouTube. You can also support me on Patreon and Subscribestar, as well as cryptocurrency. I got links in the description box below. Be dedicated, y'all. Be dedicated. And prepare. For now, it's Patriot Nurse signing off, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.